Hi, this is Mark Wade from CenterCityCondos.com at Berkshire Hathaway Fox & Roach Realtors. In this podcast, I'd like to tell you what I believe to be true and correct about low-rise, aka brownstone-styled condominiums in 19130, the Art Museum area. Okay, so there are a variety of units. Most what I've seen lie along Green Street, anywhere from the 1500 block up to maybe the 2400 block of Green. It's interesting because I think that a lot of the buildings are done very well. They're unique, original. There are very few that are too alike. I think owner occupancy ratio in some of these buildings, if you're shopping for a condominium in this segment, I think one thing to pay attention to is owner occupancy ratio. But even more important than that, you should know, within about the first 60 seconds of walking in that building, and the questions you should be asking yourself are, is the front door locked? Are both front sections of the, are there two doors that lock before somebody can get into up to your front door of your unit? There usually are. But a lot of times they're not shut. Sometimes they don't latch. Sometimes people don't push them closed. Sometimes there's so many tenants in there and the only thing in the hallway are bicycles and shoes and dirty, the light bulbs aren't real bright and the hallways are scuffed, and that's not a good sign. If a lot of buyers take their cues, of course, from, buyers don't buy bricks and mortar. They buy feelings and emotions. So when they walk in, too many times I've walked into units or buildings here, like maybe it's a 5-unit association, or there's 2 buildings pushed together and it's a 10-unit association. Too many times I've walked into these and seen it's dirty hallways that are not well lit, that are not secure, that have crap in them. Like maybe there's a snow shovel sitting and a bag of salt sitting there in the middle of June. Well, that's a problem, because that just is a bigger sign in my brain that perhaps if nobody's paying attention to things like this, well, what about the roof? What about the exterior painting? The trim work on the outside, is that deteriorating? How about the windows? Do those need to be replaced? There are issues that I think some of these low-rise condos need to pay attention to because they're just condominium buildings it's like your hair and your car and your clothes. They've got to be maintained to look their best and to be their best and to sell their best and to garner the most money and most attention and all that kind of stuff. It's not a difficult equation. So anyway, when I have buyers that I'm taking up to the Art Museum area, Green Street, what a pretty block, what a pretty street. And it doesn't matter if you're on 1500 block of Green or 2300 block of Green. It's a pretty block. It's a pretty street. So if I see a condominium, I go up there and it's clear that maybe there's a camera outside and the front door is secure and latched, and if you let it close by itself, bam, it closes and it latches, and there's another door behind it in the foyer that does the same thing, and the hallways are well lit and they're clean and they're not scuffed up and there's not like bicycle tire marks on the walls and things like that. That kind of tells me that this is an association that's paying attention, that's doing what they have to do, spending money to keep the value of that building up. Because just too many times I've taken a buyer into the building, and before I can get that unit door on the second floor front unlocked, the buyer's not interested. Come on. It's not rocket science here. Buyers don't buy bricks and mortar. They buy feelings and emotions. And if your hallways and your facade and your front walk look like crap, well, then your condo's kind of going to sell like crap, So there you go. This is Mark Wade rambling on and on. Do yourself a favor. Join a condo board. Whip the building in shape. If you have to charge an assessment for $1,000, do what you got to do. Because the reality is, here it all gets down to this, boys and girls. The reality is, at the end of the day, if everybody in a 5-unit building contributed $2,000 to fix up the common elements of the building, to make it look good, to make it secure, to maybe do power washing out front or brick pointing or repainting out, whatever the case is, replace your carpet in the hallway, clean it for God's sake. If everybody chipped in $2,000, I guarantee you, every unit in that building would be instantly worth an extra $10,000. It's real simple math. So anyway, I'm going on and on about what I know to be true and correct in my 30 years experience selling low-rise condos in beautiful downtown Philadelphia. So there you go. Thank you. Questions, comments, or concerns, pick up the telephone, push the buttons on the front of it, 215-521-1523.